option is for them to look at the possibility of owning a home. Kim, because a home is the American dream.
Absolutely.
So we want to keep that dream alive, and it should not die because of this crisis. Another program is our post-purchase, and that's people that already own a home. They may not be in foreclosure, but they having problems with their homes. They having problems with decisions concerning their home. And we want to be able to give them rehab information, opportunities for the elderly that would be able to help them make the updates that they need. Because you know, when you update something, you put on a different jacket, you look and feel a little differently. So it's the same thing with our home. We need a
shoes.
Exactly. We need a new faucet, or we need a new sink, or maybe a new tub, or surround, whatever. So we connect them to those opportunities. Also, weatherization. So post-purchase is very important too, because we want to make sure that they want to improve their property so that the value of it can continually go up as the market allows. Another program that we offer is for emergency and interim housing. Emergency and interim housing is for people that need that time to regroup after foreclosure. We want to make available to them properties that they could move into and be comfortable in the zip code that they desire, because those zip codes will state that they don't have to take their children out of the schools. They don't have to relocate and uproot their children. They don't have to go into a traditional shelter. We want them to go into something that will resemble what they're leaving, maybe a little, not exactly, but at least it'll be enough room for them, and they can have the time to concentrate on getting their lives in the position to be able to buy again.
Becoming mortgage ready.
Becoming mortgage ready. We have lease to own. We have also rentals, so that individuals will be able to rent if they want to rent, because they're not really sure what they want to do. They just need a shelf. They need something, a roof over their heads. So we want to do that. We're getting donations from 3 different banks, and those banks is Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America. So those are the properties that they're putting back into the neighborhoods. So we want to make sure that the people are able to get into those properties. Once they're rehabbed, they're able to do a lease with option to buy, and now that property is now back in the market and serving the purpose that it was designed to do, which is to house our families in our communities and bring a different atmosphere back to that community that says we're turning around, we're recovering. Another program that we offer also is home buyer education workshops. We do that in connection with banks. The banks have their workshop. You go in and you get that information, and then you then go to our workshop, which gives you the other side. You need the bank information, what products they have, so that you can understand them. But remember, you're getting it from their perspective. You're getting it from the concerns or the interests that they have, their agenda. And that's not a bad agenda, because they're in business and we need them.
And that's practical.
It's very practical, so we need to understand it. But the following workshop that is connected to the bank workshops is where your best interest is looked at, what your goals are as a family, and what you need to be and desire to be prepared for concerning housing. That is the counseling and the workshops that you would receive from Agora. We work together with the banks because we believe that whatever information that they give a family, we want to be able to give more details and a clearer understanding if needed.
Is the $8,000 housing credit still something that is available to prospective homeowners?
I'm glad you brought that particular issue up, because as a community and as a people in the United States, we have to be aware of what's being provided, such as the $8,000 credit, because if more of us are able to understand what is on the table, we're able to keep it on the table.
Right.
Because numbers matter. So if more people are educated on what is available, then when the legislation comes to say, well, we're going to end it, which it has ended, and they did not extend it. It would think that they would have, but the only thing that would have made it possible to extend it is if more people knew about it and they requested it. And they spoke with their legislators and they talked to them and said, look, we need it extended because it's allowing us to be able to purchase. And that's what's going to stimulate the market, because those people that would have bought underneath that program, once it ended, they didn't. So now they're waiting for the next one. So what we do as an organization, we have monthly calls with HUD and different organizations that have housing information and understandings, and they give us what is on the table. And we then look forward to, we prepare the people for that, because they never give it to you that it's going to happen right now. It's always something in the future. So, but that's a good thing, because we can now prepare the clients to be able to be prepared to be able to qualify for it, because there's always a qualification. There's always something that says that this is where you have to be positioned, and we help them be positioned for everything that's getting ready to come about. So there are a lot of changes right now. There is a lot of information that need to get out.
Absolutely. Now, recently, HUD has made the dream of home acquisition more of a reality. Could you speak a little bit further on the programs that's available through HUD, because there are things that have become available recently? Could you speak more on that?
One very big one is the neighborhood stabilization. Neighborhood stabilization involves the banks, it involves community organizations, it involves your churches, it involves the non-for-profit and for-profit organizations and developers to come into this and into the neighborhood and rehab properties. Now, the properties they're rehabbing are properties that are discounted, so that they would be able to go in and rehab and then sell it to a family at an amount that they would be able to handle. We're actually looking at that program as being something that's going to actually stabilize the housing market, put everything back on a level plane, and allow people then to have an equity grow in their property. Once you buy a property for, say, $50,000, you have a mortgage payment monthly of $500–700, and that's principal and interest, taxes and insurance, and now you can handle it. And it's still that 5-bedroom house that once probably sold for over $250,000. So the neighborhood stabilization program is the biggest opportunity for anyone, whether you're in foreclosure or not, whether you've lost your house or not. You want to understand the opportunities that are out here, because then you can make a well-informed decision.
I am absolutely fascinated with the information that you're sharing with us this morning. And as I said before, we gotta pay the bills around here. Now we're going to hear briefly from our sponsors, Business News Network. And today we are talking with the lovely Miss Mary Jones of Agora Community Services. And I am just fascinated with the information that she has shared with us. Now, Mary, there is one thing that comes up as a red flag to many people when they think about home ownership, and that is prior money, down payment money. Could you address that for us as we bring our show to a conclusion?
Yes, Kim, I really would, because it is important, because money answers all things. So money is an important issue when people are making a decision to buy a home. So there are programs, especially with a lot of the banks that we're working with, that you attend their workshops and you can learn what you need to have and have in place to qualify for $5,000 down payments. I think I've seen one for $6,000 down payments, but it depends on the bank. So they would attend those workshops. They would find out what is necessary to qualify for them, and they're still there. So there are a lot of different programs that their realtors can actually connect them with as well. And the good thing about it is that they can apply for more than one. There was a time when if you got one, you could not qualify or be able to get another one. But you can have a couple of down payment assistance that would help you with your down payment. Another aspect is that when people buy a home and they're buying it at this particular time, what has happened in the past that brought the problem is that they bought conventional. We're teaching and giving an education on FHA. FHA is a government-backed loan that most banks have, not all, but most banks have. So we want families to understand, what is an FHA loan? What is a government-backed loan? What does it mean to me? The biggest thing that it really means as far as from housing counselors for in this particular time is that it protects the homeowner. It protects the homeowner in the event of job loss. It protects them in the event of a decrease in income. It protects in a lot of different ways. So we want to make sure that people understand their what is available to them when it comes to mortgages. So the good thing about FHA and government-backed loans is that the down payment is less. With conventional mortgages, you have a greater down payment requirement. Well, I began really dealing with housing with a time in my life with a young child, not being able to find any education concerning housing. What did I need to know? I couldn't find it. I began to just start educating myself, and I started with real estate school, believe it or not. I did not want to sell real estate. My goal was simply to not ever have a problem with housing again, or at least have the best opportunity to not have a problem with housing. So because I couldn't find it at any point in time during that crisis in my life, a young mother with a son, I started learning, but then I stated to myself, I don't want anyone else to ever have to go through this, because it should exist. It should be there. It's not in the schools. It's not in community centers. It's nowhere. So I decided at that point that I was going to try to develop something that would fill that gap.
Hi, this is Kim Richardson back with Micro Business News Network, and we're here talking with Mary Jones of Agora Community Services. Now, we were talking about fiscal responsibility of home ownership. Could you talk to us a little bit more about creditworthiness? Uh-oh, there's that bad word. Creditworthiness. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, that is a very important point. Creditworthiness, there's a lot of misunderstandings about credit. We want to knock them out because credit is a plus in the life of a family. Credit is an advantage. It shouldn't be a negative thing. We believe that credit is something that says, this is me. This is where I stand in society. I have a good name. Helping an individual and a family acquire a good name is the basis of doing that is through credit. Understanding credit, knowing how to use it. We have people that are afraid to get a credit card.